Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam, and WWE SmackTalks and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to another live episode of Slamdown. As you know, we're a bit later than normal. We've just had I'm not going to say a big technical glitch because it's nothing on our end. The software we used for the show did an update and it knocked everything screwy. So managed to get it fixed for the minute. We've just rolled back the software. Reported it, so just waiting for them to announce that on the new update it's been fixed, so then I can update. So I apologise that the show's a lot later than normal. You know, people who are regular viewers of the show, you know, we're normally spot on every time, same time, always. So I just want to apologise. It was out of our hands, and it was just one of those things. But anyway. Now, I was really impressed with Raw. Now, last week, Raw and SmackDown were probably, well, I'm not going to say probably, were really weak shows. This week, Raw was a lot better. Backlash, why am I saying Backlash? Payback was brilliant in my eyes, and I feel that Raw was as good. I'm not going to say better, or I'll just say as good, which is surprised me. The only thing that I didn't like about Raw was the Cruiserweight tag match, and I'm still not crazy on them changing the ring purple. I just don't see a point in it. I understand that the Cruiserweights is a different division, but why do you need to go to the effort just to change the ring different colour? I think it takes away. I just don't understand it. I really don't, because you're not having different commentators for it. So why would you change the ring? I just don't get it. But if you look at what the Cruiserweights are now to when they first started, it's a lot better. They've got a lot more storylines. It's more plots to it. Where before it was quite random. You know, the only person that had anything behind them was Kendrick. And that was it. So at least now they've put more time into the Cruiserweights. And, you know, we're actually seeing that now. So it is a big step up. There's a lot of areas that they need to polish off to get it perfect. But it's getting there. You know, it's a work in progress. The one thing that I really enjoyed about Raw is not seeing Roman Reigns. Now, I know there are Roman Reigns fans out there, but the whole show felt better without him. The main event, oh my God, blew everything out of the water. You know, if they can put a show like their main event, like that kind of main event on every show at that level, I'd be hooked forever. But the whole show was perfect. You know, I like the few little tweaks to Dean Ambrose, where he's actually playing that lazy character, and the attitude on him as well. I like it. And also the way they're using the Miz as well. They're not pushing the Miz down. He's getting the right push, the right angle. The only thing is, for me, I feel that Samoa Joe should have more of a push. I know he was involved with the main event, but I would rather see Roman Reigns take on other people. I don't want him to keep being Triple H's lackey, in the better word for that. You know, that's my opinion on it. But don't forget, you can comment below, give your opinion. We do read your comments. I'm trying to pick fault with something on Raw, but I really can't. No, I can't. Starting off, we saw the Raw Women's Champion come down to the rings. But before she come down, you saw Nia Jax, Alicia Fox, Emma, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Mickie James, and Brooke, all by this big, I don't know what you call it. It looked like a cakes type of platform because it had different layers, like a podium kind of thing. We saw Miss Bliss come down, announce she's the goddess and not the queen. But out of the whole statement of that show, the thing that caught my eye was Bayley. You know, she stood there, she was quiet. You can tell by her face she was angry. But she didn't say anything and she didn't do anything. But you could tell and you could see her anger in her face, and her acting there was amazing. This match would lead to a tag team match, which would see Team Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Alicia Fox, Emma taking on Bayley, Sasha Banks, Mickie James, and Brooke. It was good. It was solid. I don't know if they're giving Bliss the finisher as a DDT, and I hope not. Because I quite like the finisher she has when she jumps off the top rope. But don't want to be too hard on it. It was just good and solid. That's all I can really say on that, to be honest with you. I've seen better, but to start off the show, it was pretty good. After that, we saw Luke Gallows taking on Enzo Amore. We did see the Club and Big Kaz and Enzo taking in a match on the kickoff show. So this was to lead off after the kickoff show with this one-on-one, which we'll probably next week see Anderson take on Big Kaz. You knew Enzo Amore wasn't going to win this match. He doesn't win matches. You know, he is the good talker, but he's not a great wrestler, in my opinion. That's why this team works. Kaz is the one that kicks ass, and Enzo Amore is the one that is the talker. You know, it's the way it's going to be. You know, you've always get this in wrestling. You either get someone who's an extremely good talker and poor wrestler, or someone that's an extremely good wrestler but a poor talker. You know, it's very rare you get what I call your hybrids, like CM Punk, who can do both and excelled in both. It is rare to see these days. You know, or you see the worst of the worst. Like Roman Reigns, that can sort of wrestle but can't talk either. So, you know, it always comes like that. But it was another I'd say it was a good match. It wasn't anything that stuck out. It was definitely later in the card where things started sticking out, when we saw Dean Ambrose organise an international, why did I go international? Intercontinental title match, where we saw Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, The Miz and Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose rang up Kurt Angle to organise a match with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor and The Miz in a three-way. We did find out later in the show that Kurt Angle made the match. Now, this bugs me, because the calibre of superstars in the ring shouldn't have to go on for the Intercontinental. These guys should be going for the Universal title. Brock Lesnar shouldn't be holding it. Just my opinion. He shouldn't be holding it. It's one thing that I have said a lot, that I don't like part-timers. I've never have liked part-timers, and I think part-timers need to stop. I think the focus needs to go on these guys. You know, if you think about the other people you can add to this, you know, you've got Samoa Joe, you've got, you know, top guys that could be your main guys. But it seems to me that Vince wants either someone like Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, that type of caliber to go for the main title. And the way this was done, you could tell that's the way they were going with this. Predictable. But I got excited for this three-way. After that, we saw, which I say is probably the worst match on the card, which was Jack Gallagher, Rich Swann, Tawazak, I can never pronounce his name, taking on the Brian Kendrick, Noam Dar, and Tony Nese. There was no real point to this match. There was no real storyline behind it, which is one of my pet hates. I hate when there's no story behind it. I did get kind of bored with it. Jack Gallagher, Rich Swann and Tawazaki won. That's it. But I do hate them keep changing the ring. That is just one thing I don't get. It winds me up. I know I shouldn't let little things like that, but it does wind me up. I hate it when they do the bloody changing it purple, because I feel it like to me it makes me feel like it's pre-recorded, and that's how it makes me feel it is. It just gives that vibe off, and it's one of the reasons why I think they need to do away with the purple and make the ring red. Keep it red, and that's what they should stick with. It's Raw. You know, I don't know whose idea it was to change the ring colour, but they need to scrap it quickly. I've basically lost my point, but yeah, no, they need to scrap that. After that, we saw Cesaro and Sheamus in the ring talking about them taking out the Hardys. I quite like these two as a heel. I always like Sheamus as a heel, but I like Cesaro playing that heel role as well. I was never too keen on these as a team. I've always felt that that Cesaro should be having a push for the main title, and I still think he should have a push for the main title. You know, he works his arse off for that company, but going heel as a team together, I could see it working. And then when we saw them come down, the Hardy Boys confront them, we saw the Delete, the Matt Moore playing the broken character, and as the Hardys came into the ring, they ducked out. I do think we've got Broken Matt on the way. It's just he's becoming more Broken Matt as the weeks go on and as the shows go on, and that's one thing that I have noticed quite heavily, that we are seeing more of the broken Matt Hardy than anything else. So I wouldn't be surprised if Broken Matt comes back. After that, we saw Apollo Crews taking on Heath Slater. I'm surprised they did this match, to be honest. But people who don't know, Apollo Crews is part of the Titus brand now. So Titus was at ringside, where Heath Slater had Rhino at ringside. It did start by Crews and Heath Slater chit-chatting backstage about kids and stuff. And then Titus intervened in there, and then we had this match. We saw Bray Wyatt confront Kurt Angle in the ring. They were saying that he's going to do... He's going to act as a saviour. He offered Angle the chance to walk side by side. We did see Bray Wyatt say to Kurt Angle, "This may be your show, but I need you to understand this is my world." So they are making him a lot darker, which I quite like. I quite like that they're making Bray Wyatt a bit darker, and I like it that he's standing on his own. After that, we saw Austin Aries taking on TJ Perkins. Right. Okay. It's just, I'm just hating the purple thing. But we did see Austin Aries getting the victory, but then we saw TJ Perkins go for that ankle that he tried to injured in the match, and continued to go for that until the referee pulled him off. After that, we had the main event. The Miz taking on Seth Rollins, Finn Balor to become #1 contender. Now, this match was absolutely epic. I like the way the Miz was used. I loved the way we saw the athleticism from Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. No one looked weak in this match. It's probably the match of the night, and I recommend people to go and watch this match. If you haven't watched Raw and you don't really want to watch Raw, just watch Raw for this match. We did see Samoa Joe attack Seth Rollins when he was outside the ring, taking out Seth Rollins, leaving the Miz and Finn Balor. Finn Balor was just about to win. Bray Wyatt comes out, takes out Finn Balor with Sister Abigail, and then disappears, allowing Miz to pin Balor and claim the victory. Now, quite interesting that Bray Wyatt chose Finn Balor. I was a bit worried about this, and then I started to think, what about if they're building this up and we see the demon Finn Balor taking on Bray Wyatt? That could work. Or are we going to see Finn Balor turning heel and joining Bray Wyatt? We could see that as well. There's many ways they can change this. I think they need to have a bit more heels in that division. So I do think this is the way it's going to go. I think Finn Balor is going to turn heel and align with Bray. I just have that eerie feeling about it. But overall, it was a lot better show. A lot better than previous weeks. SmackDown has got somewhere to beat it. Really have got to go somewhere to beat it. Yeah, and that's it for about Raw review. I just want to say sorry again about the delay of the show. You know, hopefully the software we use managed to fix the problems, so then we can roll the update on this software, because we've, like I said, we've had to roll it back to get it to work. So I want to say a big thank you for everybody watching. We're on air tomorrow at normal time at 9 o'clock with SmackDown Review. So this has been me, your host, Ashley Friend, and I'll see you again tomorrow.